talking about? What you talking about? What you talking about? What you talking about, Will?
It really is a time when all of us have got to start talking louder than ever. The rapid speed of, if you like, globalization. The world government, world army, world central bank, world currency, world microchip population.
Don't be afraid.
No, be afraid. Be very afraid.
The important thing is to know where they want to take us.
They have to destroy the dollar, destroy the pound, destroy the old order, while they've been building the new world order, this technological enslavement system.
The FBI is taking on $1 billion project to gather fingerprints, palm patterns, even digital pictures of faces. Eventually, it could expand to include iris patterns, face-shape patterns, scars, even information about how you walk and talk. It's called biometrics.
We want your soul. You can't handle the truth.
Time to Howl at the Wolves. It's Saturday night, February 14, 2026, or 2026. What did they say at the Bilderberg Group?
As you like it.
Keith Temple in studio. How are you?
Awesome. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day. Co-host Dr. Brooks Agnew. You can find him at brooksagnew.com. How are you?
Doing fine. It was a great Saturday. Got a lot done. Of course, when you're retired, every day is Saturday.
Every day's Saturday to a dog, right? I don't know the quote. I don't know the author of that quote, but I've always loved it. And I shall find it sometime, give him credit on air. Before we begin tonight's program, folks, Scott Hare, of course, is out tonight. And we still await his return and all that. And a long-time fixture on the show, and we hope one day he'll be back with us. But right now we got some serious things going on with Adam Earth. It's a dear friend, not just part of the show. He's a dear friend of mine. And Keith Temple is going to lead us in prayer tonight. Adam went into kidney failure. And I'll be back to the hospital with him tomorrow. I think Keith's going to go with me. And we're going to, he's going to be up for, obviously, looking for a transplant. If I'm a match, I'll give it to him. So we'll figure all that out. Keith, can you lead us in prayer?
Sure. Thank you very much, Chad. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for being our Lord and our Savior. We know you're in control of all things. Things that sometimes appear to be adverse, you find a way to use for good. We love Adam. We want Adam to know that we love him. We want Adam to know, and I know he knows, that you love him. We've talked many times off the show about his spiritual walk. He has some challenges as a young man. And we just pray for his positive recovery through this. Thank you, Lord, when you gave us such specific, direct input to say, what are the two most important commandments? And it's love the Lord with all your heart and love your neighbor as yourself. And obviously, Adam is a neighbor of ours, and we do. And we're designed, and we understand we're designed to walk with people here on earth, and we're going to walk, as Chad said. We'll go visit him tomorrow and have a conversation with him. But thank you, dear Lord. Be with us. Be with us as we go forward this week. Be with us tonight on this show. Let us find the words and the topics that you intend for our audience to hear. In Christ's name we pray.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Keith. Very well done.
Thank you.
Very well done. And so thoughts and prayers. Keep Adam Earth, longtime listeners. Hopefully we're going to pull Adam through this. And so So we shall see. Brooks, a lot of stuff going on. You can always lead us off if you want to, if something's, grinding your gears.
Well, I guess the biggest story out there right now is the gear up, and literally the gearing up to strike Iran. This is probably weighing, I think, on the whole planet right now. To have a state sponsor of terror for over 50 years, countless death, countless hatred and radicalization, 2 whole generations of hatred on this planet. And the Persian people are suffering. People of Iran are suffering. And there's a tremendous amount of pressure on the White House right now to do something. Now there are going to be 2 carrier groups within striking distance of Iran. And this is the war that we have all been avoiding for a long time. And I honestly don't know how to make a deal. I don't think a deal can be made. And this is a point that the world has come to. And I think the UN is powerless, and Russia's powerless, China's powerless. They're just out of control. And I really don't know what to do about it.
This is something, when you don't know what to do about it, how the heck do I know what to do?
Well, I mean, I know what to do about it, but I don't think it can be done. I don't think the mullahs can be taken out of power. I think they're like grafted into the nervous system of the IRGC, which is, the 5th largest army in the world. And I don't know that you can take the mullahs out. You don't want to leave, the nation without a leader, without some person to negotiate with, because then the whole nation falls into civil war, and it's an even worse problem. And then you don't forget you have Iraq right next door, which fought them for 20 years, and they're looking for a way to exact revenge against them, and it's just not easy to solve.
I think that's an important point you made there, Brooks, is that Iran and Iraq, although they're in the Middle East, they border each other. They're Muslim countries, but they're no friends of each other. And
well, I mean, Iran is not a Muslim country. Iran is primarily a Christian country, but it is under oppression right now from not even Muslim leaders. The mullahs are ruthless. I mean, they're going through hospitals, locating the wounded from the protesters, and they're killing them in their hospital beds.
And as you said, this goes back 50 years. And us with a little bit of gray in our hair and our beards, I mean, we remember, the Iran-Contra or the Iran hostage situation.
Sure.
With Jimmy Carter, and, Ronald Reagan got elected, and Ronald Reagan said, hey, our hostages better be free by the time I get sworn in. And they believed it. And I don't know, like a day or two before, a week before, I'm not exactly sure, but it was like very short order before Ronald Reagan took office, they released the hostages there. And that was, in the 1980-ish. So
that was 1979.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, to be a state sponsor of terror for so long, everything that's going on in Yemen, everything that went on in Syria, everything that went on in Lebanon, all the bombing and rockets and everything that went into Israel, most of the terror activity that happens in this country is all involving Iran. And, this latest shutdown we had of El Paso airspace, a lot of people don't realize we have not had a no-fly zone in this country since 2001. And that wasn't set to last for 10 days. That only lasted for a few hours. El Paso was going to be dark for 10 days. Most people do not know that drone that crossed over the border It wasn't just a cartel drone looking for a place to, drop drugs. That was a targeting drone. A targeting drone is a special kind of drone. It is designed to map the air and everything in the air down to the meter. And it's used to target shoulder-fired missiles. When you shoot a shoulder-fired missile, it can follow an infrared signature, but it can follow exact targets in a busy airfield with a targeting drone. That's why they shut the airlines down. No traffic at all, no private, no general aviation, nothing, while they took that drone out and then made sure that there were no targeting signatures in the region. So that tells me Iran was involved. That tells me those were Iranian weapons. Now, they could have been Chinese, but I doubt it. I don't think the Chinese would take on that liability. They could have been Russian, but I absolutely don't think the Russians would have taken on that liability. The Iranians would. They're basically saying, you shoot us, we shoot you in your own country.
Mm-hmm. All right. And just for the viewers to remind, I'm not sure. Not quite a year ago, I guess, Trump, bombed the nuclear facilities of Iran. And what you've outlined there, Brooks, I mean, who in their right mind would say after 50 years of this terrorist activity and leadership, we can trust them, right, with a nuclear arms deal that, oh, yes, we'll allow you to enrich uranium and, generate, nuclear power plants and those types of things. And, oh, by the way, do not use any of that to make nuclear bombs. I mean, who would believe? But Barack did. And
well, when it comes to trust, we can't even trust our own government. I mean, our own government is shutting down the TSA, the DHS, Homeland Security, every division except for ICE. ICE is already funded, so they can't do anything to ICE. That's the one they wanted to shut down. But they're shutting the government down, crippling our own ability to protect our airports. Our own government's doing that.
Is this in response to the bill that would have something to do with the Voter ID Act?
Well, that's what they say. Yeah. The Safe ID Act, which now has 50 votes in the Senate. All they need is a standing filibuster to pass it. But I don't think Thune is going to have a standing filibuster. I think they're going to go to vacation before that passes, or before that's allowed. But I think it's just a tactic. It really is, because the Safe ID Act, the version of it that's going to pass is not going to be what people think it is. Once you vote once with Safe ID, you don't have to present ID again after that. And that defeats the purpose of the bill, because what if that person dies during that year? Well, there's Safe IDs out there, and it can be used by someone else. It can be counterfeited.
I wasn't aware of that.
That's thinking about the after before, right there, Bruce.
Right. You have to vote in person with ID every time you vote, not just once. That's the only way Susan Collins would sign on to it, is with that caveat. And I'm afraid that's what the bill's going to end up being.
Keith and I were talking while we were cooking. Or I guess I was cooking. But
no, I'm eating. That's a good match. You cook, I eat.
That's absurd. You cook, I eat. You buy, I fly. Shotgun. It is absolutely just atrociously stupid that we have to have something like this even being discussed. People should present ID to vote. It's just ridiculous. It's like,
it's ridiculous from our standpoint, but from the Democrat standpoint, they realize they're not going to win an election for a generation, unless they can ensure their method of cheating.
Yeah, but I am completely with you. It's just I'm just coming from a holy shit, a logical standpoint, and, which I know you do too, and everyone else. But it's just, it astonishes me how people who, I guess, because they're not awake, they're like, no, that's racist to have to present ID. Really, when you buy a beer, do you have to present your ID? Holy shit.
Well, they've kind of given up on that narrative. The new narrative is 69 million women will not be able to vote because they're married.
What?
Yeah, I swear that's the script. I don't mean that's a talking point.
Wow.
That's the script that every single legacy media is saying right now, is that 69 million women will lose their right to vote because they didn't change their name on their birth certificate, which makes no sense whatsoever. It's the stupidest thing I ever heard, but that's what they're saying. And if you only listen to the legacy media, you believe it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow. Take that, YouTube misinformation.
Misinformation.
I actually don't think that's that bad of an idea, but that's beside the point. Women are not going to lose their right to vote.
No, of course not. But yeah, like you said, that's the thing, man.
But how do they
People
get the little gold star on their driver's license if they're not?
Well, that's a safe ID. Yeah, if you get a safe ID, you have to have your birth certificate to go into the DMV, and then they verify your identity. But I think there are still 15 states that don't require that safe ID. I'm in North Carolina. I don't have a safe ID, but I have a passport. The reason I don't have a safe ID is because when the COVID lockdown happened, it also happened to be the year that I was supposed to renew my driver's license, and our DMV statewide was shut down. We could not meet in person. So I didn't get my license renewed that year except online, which is not safe ID. So, and I also believe that a safe ID, I'm a little bit like Ron Paul this way, that then becomes a national ID card. And that is not constitutional.
Right.
So I'll use my passport. That's fine. I use it as an ID when I have to for government documents, but not my driver's license.
Interesting. Interesting.
You know, to hop back to the Iran thing real quick.
Sure.
What troubles me here is that, well, there's a lot of stuff that the people who want to be in power, who are not in power right now, this stateside, neglected on purpose, obviously, for the whole global syndicate. But I think for the people who are absolutely opposed, which is the minority of the country, but opposed to the Trump administration, it just gives them fuel. You know, the optics look like he's a warmonger. You know?
Yes, it does. And that also presents a problem because historically, the United States never hits first. We're counterpunchers. And it has never gone well for countries, especially the United States, who have decided, oh, we're going to go conquer this country. It ends up destroying them. So, but we're not talking about conquering Iran. We're not talking about going to war with Iran.
Right.
We're talking about eliminating the very few, the 0.5% that are holding Iran hostage and not allowing the people to be free.
Exactly. I'm with you on that. I'm just, you understand where I'm coming from. The optics is going to be, you know, it's going to look horrible to some people.
We have to control the optics, but we're not going to be able to. CNN, ABC, Disney, they're the ones that are going to control the optics.
Yeah, but you're right. We're not. This ain't no boots on the ground thing. So,
Well, I wouldn't say that. I mean, it would have to be surgical, but you can't just sit there in the air and bomb mullahs. You have to seize their money. You have to capture them. You have to. Go in and it's boots on the ground win wars quickly.
I understand. What I mean is, an invasion type shit. I understand operators are going to be used. I understand that. Bob Austin was on with us the past 2 Saturday nights, and he knows operators are going to be used. So,
Well, yeah, what you're talking about is sometimes the term boots on the ground is like, the Dick Cheney, how long did it take? 8 months to stage all the equipment and people and be at the border and then get the signal to go. This is much different. This is
right. Desert Shield and Desert Sword.
Right.
yeah. Well, I'm glad you started the show off with that, Brooks. As far as that, no, seriously. Because
well, it's the most important news in the world right now. What's going on in Minnesota has been news. We don't want to hear another damn word about anybody named Guthrie.
All right.
This is the main news in the world right now.
Yeah. No, that's exactly the point. And I forgot to write the Guthrie thing down. But listen, I don't want anyone kidnapped. But how did that become a national news story? Because there's like 25, I don't know exactly how many. You know how many people are kidnapped and missing right now?
Yeah, per hour?
Yeah.
Quite a few, yeah.
But somehow that always fascinates me when something like that becomes a huge news story. It's like, well,
what it's telling you is that they don't want to talk about the real news.
Distraction.
Exactly.
That's right. They're trying to create a distraction. Now, if there was a school shooting, which they seem to always be able to come up with at the right moment, or something like that, they would switch to it. But my gosh, you turn on any news, even Breitbart Radio, even Fox News, all they talk about is Guthrie. No one wants to hear it. Nobody cares. Everybody knows that woman was dead within 3 hours of when she was abducted. Everybody knows this. Even law enforcement knows it.
Yeah, once again, it fascinates me, and I've stayed away from it until earlier this morning. By the way, Keith hung out with my best friend of 20 years, Dick Johnson, last night.
We had a great time.
Yeah.
That was really nice. You got a great friend there. And I look forward to meeting him again and grilling some steaks and some chili and Heineken's.
Got to have the Heineken's, man. But we hung out, and so that was really cool. But this morning, because now Keith retired a little earlier last night.
11:15. I left at 11:15. For an old guy, that's doing well.
No, you did good, man. You hung with us, and Jimmy and I had Dick Johnson. We call each other Jimmy. It's just that we know each other for 20 years. I don't know how the Jimmy thing came around, but we call each other Jimmy. But he and I, of course, continued hanging out and stuff. But I was looking this morning into the news feed, and it's a Guthrie thing. And I've been ignoring it, Brooks, for a long time because I know it's a distraction, like we just talked about. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, all right, let me look into some details about this. And I'm like, so my takeaway is, like I said before, I hope she's all right. I understand that most likely she's not. But I was thinking there's got to be, for it to be this big of a news story, but Chad, I thought there was something else going on. It's like, no, this is a person who was abducted. I'm like, well, motherfuck, there's so many people abducted. How do you choose one thing because it's a distraction? It frustrates me.
And a lot of people would say, well, it's a distraction from the Epstein files. Could be, because you know what? We don't care about the list of names. We've had the list of names for a long time.
Yeah.
What we want are the images, the short video clips that the Epstein machine collected over all those years. Enough evidence to blackmail some of the most powerful people in the world. If you've seen some of the shorts that have leaked out on Twitter, on TikTok, just short ones, 5, 6, 7 seconds of them, they're so horrendous that the Congress people that are seeing those, they're going into the viewing room or the viewing site, which, by the way, the Republicans set it up so that they could track all the searches that everybody makes. If you see some of that, you will say, this guy's not a victim. This guy's not a victim. He's a predator. Just the 6 seconds that I watched, and I do not want any of that stuff in my mind. I don't want it burned on my retina for my life. Just the 6 seconds that I watched, that man should be hung by the neck until dead. And I understand there are hundreds of them, hundreds of men and women just like that. I'm not talking about flight logs. I'm not talking about party sign-off books. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about photos, videos of these guys in a hot tub with Menudo. I'm talking about bad shit. And these guys, maybe they can't prosecute them. Maybe they can't put them in jail. But you show us, the people, that stuff, and these guys will have to resign. They will lose their marriages, their money, their jobs, and I guess I'm okay with that.
Well, that's what happened to Bill Gates. I'm almost 100% sure that's why Melinda left him.
He still has his money.
Yeah.
He still has his money, but she I think you're right. She really understood at one point what a fucking monster this guy is. I'm married to this monster.
Tell you, once you touch a 10-year-old, that's it for you. I'm going for my gat. That's it for you.
Yep. I think the Bible's pretty clear about it. Is you harm one of the young ones, it'd be better that you had a millstone around your neck at the bottom of the sea. So.
And finish the sentence. Better than a millstone be hung around your neck than what I'm going to do to you.
Right.
Nice. Yeah.
Right. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord.
Yeah.
Hell is hot and forever's a long time.
Yeah, but they still get to live long lives with more money than you could ever imagine. And I just don't think that's right. I think they should be like Herod. They should just burn on the inside until they're dead.
Well, part of it, I'm going to guess, and Brooks, I'll get your take on this, is wouldn't it be sick if our government was involved?
I think members of our government are. And
Yeah.
there's a false statement out there that says that Pam Bondi said if I arrested everybody that was on the Epstein files, the entire government would collapse. She never said that. She has never said that. That's a false claim. But if the government did collapse because of that, it needs to.
Right.
Because there are good men and women that will take their place in a New York second.
Absolutely.
Immediately.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Absolutely. Put interim people in. Have the governors appoint interim people for a bit, and hold special elections. Or we're getting
And
really.
we may have to take a few governors out. We may have to take a few secretaries of state, generals, judges. We may have to take them out, but they can be replaced in a moment with a good person.
Yes.
Start over. start over? Was it Craig Hewlett wrote the Hydra? He worked for, I had him on this is years ago, but Craig Hewlett. The book is the Hydra. He used to work for Ron Paul back in the day. And he said he told me, it's not just he told the audience, when new people come into the Congress and the House and the Senate, you know, the newbies, the champagne glasses start clinging, and that's when the wolves come in, meaning the what am I looking for here? The people come in to basically corrupt them. We shouldn't have them available. What am I, Brooks? I don't know why I'm totally vapor locking on.
Well, the idea is they're going to try to, like you say, compromise them. They're going to give them either, you know,
they should,
some money. They're going to give them money. They're going to give them sex, or you know, or they're going to give them power, or they're going to give them fame. Right.
Right.
I mean that whatever's going to be their weak point is what they're going to test to find out, so that they can get control of it.
Yes, but that's what's basically going on. You know, once the champagne's clean, you know, champagne glasses start clinging, people end up they don't want to be corrupted. A lot of them do get corrupted eventually
Because we're broken people.
Oh, I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've had friends, associates that got elected to Congress and went. And one of my friends, his name was Van Hillary. He said, I'm going to go in and serve 2 terms and that's it. I'm quitting. Well, point is, he did really well. His first 2 terms there, he represented us very well. I had lunch with him when he would come to town and we would talk about strategies and I would give him advice, which a lot of it he followed. I thought he did a great job. And I said, after 4 years, Van, you need to stay in. You need to stay in. You're a good man. You could do a 3rd term. He said, nope, I'm out of there. You have no idea what it's like.
Yep. Yeah. So he knew, and he went in to do the job that's the way everyone should do it.
That's the way it should work. Yeah.
Yeah. True public service. Right there, you know.
Oh, by the way, I wanted to share my new button with you. I had a button made. I've showed it on Twitter and Facebook. It's you know, a button you can wear on your shirt.
I can't see the camera right now, Brooks. I mean, I
It
can't.
says Control Alt Deport.
Nice. Push that right now, Brooks.
Well, it's a button you wear on your shirt.
Sure.
You know, it's a conversation starter.
Yeah.
Right. Instead of Control Alt Delete to reboot your
Yeah.
computer, it's the port.
Yes. Play on words.
Yes.
I love it. I just hook that up and then push the button.
Well, I had it made. I said, you know, if you want one, contact me and I'll sell them to you. But I have had no takers. It's sort of like wearing a MAGA hat in public. Nobody wants to do it.
So, you know, yeah, that's true. That's true. Everyone wants, just in case, self-preservation. It's Craig Hewlett, the Hydra. That's, I don't know why I was vapor locking. He said, you know, as far as the champagne glasses start clinging, that's when the lobbyists come in.
Well, lobbyists, you know, get a bad rap.
They do. They do.
Lobbyists work for companies. I hired one myself. Lobbyists work for companies, and what they master is the art of the elevator pitch, because they only get about 90 seconds with a congressman. And these congressmen don't know everything. In fact, a lot of congressmen don't know a damn thing. But what you want them to know is what your industry is about, so that when a bill comes up that favors that industry, they can vote for it. That's what a lobbyist does. And that's fine. I think lobbyists are there to serve a purpose. They educate, and, you know, everything from asphalt to zinc mining. They have A to Z. They know everything, and we hire them to go in. It's not cheap, but we hire them to go in. Like when I had my electric vehicle company, I wanted to know when grants were going to come up for the development of electric vehicles. So I hired a lobbyist to go to Washington and get that information. And that's straight up, capitalism.
Yeah.
What is bad is the donor class. I'm talking about when they invite a congressman or a senator over to a private party where there's 50, 70, 80 people and everybody there is writing $10,000 checks.
That's what Craig was talking about. Yeah, you're right.
That's not lobbying. That's buying influence. Big difference.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Huge difference, but it works in secrecy with one another. You get to that point.
Sort of, but you got to trace the money. Like, for instance, DARPA, which a lot of people know, right? The defense organization. DARPA has more money than King's. And they donate a lot of money to Hollywood. A lot of the movies that get made are financed by DARPA money. You should know that. Especially if they're propaganda movies. They are funded by DARPA. And what DARPA does is they actually launder way more money than what you would think. Most of the films that are made in Hollywood have DARPA money in them. And it could be a $20 million or a $200 million film, just to give you an idea what kind of budget we're talking about. But when Democrats go to Hollywood to have that Hollywood party to get those donation checks, it's the DARPA money that's laundered through the film company to the politician. So all this money that the Streisands and, all these people give to the politicians like Hillary when they come to Hollywood, it's not their money. It's DARPA money. So it gives you an idea what actually they're doing. They're using our taxpayer money to finance the Democrat Party campaigns. That's why they go to Hollywood. That's where the money comes from. It comes from the film industry itself that gets it from DARPA.
That is brilliantly explained right there. A lot of people need to rewind, listen to Brooks again.
Why do you think Harvey Weinstein was taken out? Harvey Weinstein was taken out because he got the scripts. He was the guy that gave the Oscars away, okay? If he picked you to play in his movie, you were going to get an Oscar. That's how good the movie was. But Harvey got the money. It wasn't his money. It was DARPA money that came through his films. And it was Hillary and Adolph Newsom and Karen Bass and all the others that came to the fundraisers that DARPA was giving them money to. But it has to be laundered through the film industry. That's why these people cannot be beat. On a level playing field, they cannot be beat.
Unless the public has had enough and there's a turning point, and
it doesn't matter, because what they'll do is they'll do just what California did. They'll say, okay, so we have 40% of our state that votes Republican, but only 15% are represented because of the way they redistrict the state. Look at Virginia, what they just did there. 40% of that state votes Republican, if you can believe it. They have one Republican, one. They redistricted the state, so it doesn't matter how many Republicans vote. They only get to elect one guy. Look at AOC. AOC runs in the Bronx.
Yeah.
You know how many Republicans there are in the Bronx? 4. That's it, 4. So AOC's always going to get reelected because she's a Democrat. And Democrats are not going to primary their own.
One day when we get, one day when we get Scotty back on, which it'll happen, we'll have those clips to play. Did you see AOC just completely go to word salad? She was Kamala Harris the other day. It was funny as hell. I
can't stand to watch her. It gives me a rash.
Gives me a rash. You know, I am guilty at one time, probably back in 2016 or 2017, whenever she first came on the scene. I think it was on air, and well, I was said it on air. It was like, you know, she's and Double A looked at me. He was on the show at the time, and we might be. I said we might be talking to him again fairly soon, and I had a great conversation with Double A, by the way, a couple of days ago. But when I said this on air, Double A looked at me. He's sitting across the broadcast desk when we were still doing terrestrial radio. I said, "Now you have to understand, Keith. This is when she first came into Congress."
Right.
Or blah blah blah. I was like, if she wasn't so asleep and being controlled, I mean, she's kind of hot. Double A,
yeah, but look at that ass now.
oh, I know she's blown up and all that. But Double A looked at me real quick with sideways eyes. He was like, "Don't you ever?"
Well,
I was like,
who
"No,
did
just
she,
say it, man."
who did she
I'm just saying. Back in the day, she
You know how she got elected, right? You ever hear of an activist? His name is Cenk Uygur.
yeah.
He runs a company called the
Young Turks. Yeah.
And he put out a casting call for a young Democrat to run in a district where a guy was a 10-term Democrat. He was a 10-term, he was unbeatable. Unbeatable. He hadn't done anything in a long time, but he was unbeatable. And he said, there are a lot of disenfranchised Democrats in this area. We're going to run a candidate against this guy. So they did a casting call, and they actually filmed 1,000 participants. And AOC didn't even put her name in. Her brother did. Her brother put her name in. So she went in, she read her little speech that was prepared for her, and they liked her, and the camera liked her. And so Obama's speechwriter, he's an Indian guy, Obama's speechwriter wrote her a speech, and she won. She won. And by the way, Obama's speechwriter quit about a week after that speech was written. He quit. Very talented guy, by the way, very talented speechwriter. I know I'm a speechwriter. And she won, and she's unbeatable because all there are Democrats in the district.
Yeah, exactly. Wow.
She doesn't represent the people of the Bronx.
No.
She represents herself.
absolutely.
I think the moral of the story is Double A was right when he gave me sideways eyes.
Yeah.
I made a similar comment to our good friend Adam, not Adam Earth, but and he almost, I think, reached across the breakfast table and almost hit me. But I didn't say I didn't say that she was halfway good looking. I said, well, at least she's young and energetic, and how naive I was, at that point,
I think at the time, Keith, I was like, I can change her.
We have that problem as men, don't we?
Exactly.
We do.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people like Tulsi Gabbard for the same reason, but Tulsi's smart, and Tulsi is a colonel, and Tulsi's flown helicopters and is a patriot,
Yes.
and she cannot be bought.
No, she's the real deal. People should understand that.
Well, I've said a couple of times on the show that I think Trump's biggest asset is the team that he's put together. And if J.D. Vance can inherit that team essentially, man, it's going to be just smooth sailing going in. And
Well, that's what happens when you have 4 years to put your cabinet together.
Yeah. 4 years in exile, right?
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he learned a lot by what happened in 2020. He learned a lot. He had those 4 years.
I've been all this week recording Glance of Angels as an audiobook
Nice.
and reading the book again. Of course, I wrote it, a year and a half ago.
Yeah. And you sent Scotty a copy.
I did.
Yeah.
Reading the book aloud, as a recording for people to enjoy the audiobook, just brings the whole book back alive to me. And it's amazing that some of the things I said in the book have already come to pass.
Yep. It's it's undescribable, folks. If you get into Brooks's books, Glance of Angels, undescribable. I'm not doing it justice. Just get the books, and you'll know how to get them. But yeah, it's beyond uncanny. How about that, Brooks?
When I started writing the Birth trilogy, I would go on a mental journey, like I would just escape into the book, and I wrote 3 books in 2 years, and my fingers stayed sore, my hands stayed sore all the time. I was typing so much. But you just go to a place, and you're actually a witness to all the characters that are in the story doing their thing. And when I finished with the Birth trilogy, I thought, well, I'll just take a rest for a while because I've been writing pretty solid. But Charm of Favor woke me up in the middle of the night, and I started writing it. That was a #1 bestseller as well. And that was what I called the Deep State War series. And then the Glance of Angels is the sequel to Charm of Favor. So it's basically the same characters, but it's the next phase of the war. And some of the things that are in the book have not come to pass yet, but they're in what we call in the breach. They're in the breach. They're rolling around to the barrel, and they're going to be coming out.
Yeah, it's the simmering. The simmering is happening, and yeah, you're right. Which book did you get, Bruce?
I got the one Remember the Future.
Remembering the Future, right?
My favorite. I have pimped that out for years. I love that book. I love all your books, but yeah, Remembering the Future. Holy cow!
Remembering the Future has sold a lot of copies. I probably sold, I don't know, I've sold more of those than any other book that I've written, I think, over the years. I wrote it in 2017 or 2007, actually, 2007. So it has sold enough copies to be a movie. And by the way, if you buy any of my books, I have 13 in print, any of the books, the audiobook is free. So all you have to do is ask me, and I will send you the link to the audiobook. So if you're not a great reader, don't worry about it, because I read it for you.
I love it. I've always loved that. And yeah, Remembering the Future. Remember this, Brooks, and this is for new listeners who come around, haven't heard this before. Others are like, "Shut the fuck up, Chad." But I'll be brief. But for new listeners, I would, long before this show that used to be a terrestrial radio show from 2009 to 2023. Now it's a podcast, but in 2005, I was sitting on my bed with a cup of coffee and had to go brew more coffee because this guy, Brooks Agnew, came on Coast to Coast. And he was on for what, 3.5 hours, Brooks? Something like that?
3 hours.
Yeah. In 2005, and I was just, I gotta make another pot of coffee. I can't. I'm gonna
By
listen
the way,
to
I'm
this
going to be on
entire
Coast to Coast again the 26th of February, 10 p.m. Pacific.
Oh, wow.
What 26th of February?
The 26th at 10 p.m. Pacific.
Is that a Saturday?
I believe it's a Thursday night.
Oh, good. That way you're not cheating on us.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna listen to you on Coast Thursday night. on the
Okay.
26th. Hell yeah.
And we do, with George, we usually do an hour of phone calls. I love the phone calls.
Oh yeah. I don't know if it'd be cheating if I called in.
I don't think it would be cheating.
Yeah, I might have to give a little ring-a-ling. See if I can get into the phone lines.
I used to love Sam. He was, I don't know how many years he worked for Coast to Coast, but he lived in he lived in Utah. I can't remember what town he lived in. Reno. He lived in Reno, Nevada.
Yeah.
And he's the voice that says, if you live west of the Rockies, call 509. You know, he was that guy with that really deep, rich voice.
He works for John Wells now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. What a voice. What a voice. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was when he his first or second time that he'd actually run the program as the host.
Oh yeah.
I helped him through the whole thing, you know, because I have a lot of years experience doing this. So I coached him through the whole thing and we did great.
I actually heard that show as well. When Sam was doing that, I was like, that's too cool for school. But yeah, one of the most, his voice, the guy they got doing it now, you know, I'm not banging on him, but Sam was the dude. But you know that
he was.
Oh yeah. But I think it was a good decision. He you know, when John left Coast, Sam went with him, and it's worked out.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, John had pretty much built his own audience on that show.
Oh yeah.
And that's something that George didn't really like very much. So he needed that space for himself. So he let John go.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, can I say it, Brooks, on air, even though you're going to be on Coast? Can I say
Sure.
it? You
Yeah.
sure? When I learned that this is it's just straight up fact. When I learned that Coast had let John B. Wells go, I called John, and all I said was, and this is just, I'll never forget this. I called John. He answers, and I said, John. He knew what I was talking about right away. I said, John, what happened? And he said, that motherfucker Nori.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. I mean,
It's exactly
there's
what,
a lot of
that's
egos
just
in
true
this
conversation.
business.
Yeah.
A lot of egos. Coast to Coast, you know, the Tommy and the rest of the people that run that organization, they've never asked me to co-host. I mean, I've been out here for over 20 years now.
You have.
21 years.
And you've done such
They've
great
never
job.
asked me to co-host because of that reason. Because of that reason. They already know I have my own program.
They
with
know
my
you
own
have the
listeners,
chops.
and
They don't want a John
Yeah.
Wells again.
They don't
Yep.
want that. So they bring me on as a guest, and you know what? I'm humbled to be a guest. I'm highly complimented that they keep asking me to be a guest, and I have nothing bad to say about the organization or Guy or any of those people. I think they do a fine job, and they deserve all the success that they've crafted.
Yeah.
This is a very, very tough industry, and every other conference, radio, podcasting format has come and gone except them.
Oh yeah.
They've managed to stay.
Yeah, they have. I still say, what did Joe Rogan say the other day on his somehow Coast to Coast came up and he said Art Bell was the OG.
Yeah, well, Art Bell started it. You know, he's
Yeah.
the guy that created the cult. He and I don't mean cult as in a cult. I mean cult as in culture.
Right.
He started the culture of conspiracy theorists. And Art Bell didn't put up with any crap. I mean, if you came on there and talked about Bigfoot, by God, you better have some proof of Bigfoot, some recording or something. Art Bell would tear you up if you didn't. And what happened was Nuri was a sports broadcaster up in St. Louis, and he became a guest host on Coast to Coast. And then just over the years, what happened is Nuri just took over the space. And now George works hard. He goes to conferences. He does MC work all over the world, and he's a hard worker, and he's not younger than I am. I'll put it that way. He's older than I am, but he's a hard worker. He stays at it, and he cares about the industry. Now, he doesn't take a compliment very well. I've been in the green room with him several times and tried to give him a compliment. He doesn't take it very well at all. But he's a great man. He's done a lot for the genre. The genre probably wouldn't exist if it wasn't for George Norrie.
Yeah, he's kept it going after art for sure, and grown it. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Damn it, I know you can't do it, but it's like we need George Norrie sticking around and stuff, and so but there's no way for you
I
to
don't
say,
have
hey,
inside
George.
information on that anymore. I know that he renewed his contract. He renewed his contract in 2012, and I don't know for how long. I don't.
Oh, well, yeah, I know
his
he's
inside information.
No, Brooks, I understand. I know he's getting up there. I was going to say, there's no way. I understand. There's no way for you to lightly say to George, "Hey, by the way, you should biohack."
No, but I've made the hint lots of times. Hey, I'd love to be a guest host on Coast to Coast,
dude.
They never seem to pick me up on it.
And you're right.
Now, if I lived in LA, it probably would happen because I mean, Rob Simone has done it, and Mike Barra and others, but no, they've never asked me.
They have the chick, I forget her name, but she's from Louisville, Kentucky. The chick co-host, I forget her name right now.
I forget her name too.
But she does a great job. Hell, you should have a co-spot after 20 years, just every once in a while. Ian Punnett, if he's off, put Brooks in.
Yep, I know, but I've spoken at all the conferences. I've been all over the world. I've spoken to hundreds of thousands of people live. I've had a good life. I've enjoyed what I've done. I'm not saying I would never speak at another conference, but I haven't been asked in over a year. But I would. It's expensive to go out on the speaking tours, about $25,000 a year, and it's expensive. Not everybody has that spare change laying around.
Yeah. No, that's very true. Man, sometimes. Okay. Starting to get worried about Keith.
There he is.
Yeah. You all right, buddy?
I'm good now.
We've been talking extensively, Keith, about you behind your back. And
I can believe that. You guys, you won't even give a guy a break.
So anyway, Brooks, like I said, after tonight's show, I'll once we wrap him up, I'll have his body delivered to you.
Now, at least pour me another part of this so I go out feeling no pain.
Yeah, no problem. But yeah, that is awesome. And once again, I'll be lobbying for you, Brooks. We talked about lobbyists earlier. I'm going to lobby for you you should be a fill-in host for Coast every once in a while. Let me reach over here.
Yeah, I would be happy to. I would do it in a second, but there's plenty of talent out there.
But no Brooks Agnew, just one of them. So
there can be only one. If you don't believe me, Google it.
There's only one
in the whole world.
Most interesting man in the world, Clarice. That is.
I tried to explain it to my grandfather when I was 15 years old. He didn't take it too well. Yeah. He said, "Why can't you be like your brother?" I said, "Because I am the Brooks Agnew." He didn't take that too well.
Well, you are the Brooks Agnew, and he should have understood that.
And,
but I'm not putting it
and you knew it at age 15.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's probably something that's kind of innate to each individual being wired, is that, your self-identity and where you're going to be. I'd say at 15, I pretty much knew that, you know, I was unique and had talents and skills and, you know, and so I can understand that.
Well, you have to be, I guess, on guard all the time because most leaders or most people that end up in leadership position are sociopaths,
Yeah.
and some of them are psychopaths. And
Yeah.
I wanted to avoid both of those traps. So I tried to just remember I'm just an ordinary human being with a voice. I believe we make our own luck. And I push pretty hard on a lot of fronts to put myself in places sort of like, I don't know, playing pool. The balls will not go in the pocket unless they roll.
Yes.
So I try to roll all the balls all the time. And I've been fortunate that some of them have gone into the pocket for me. So I share that every way that I can, even in my import business where I deliver Ivan and Roxy and HCQ to thousands of people all over the United States. I do it to save lives. I don't do it to make money.
That's awesome. I mean, I think that's one of the purposes of the show. You know, we've all talked about the ideas that we just want to be out there and help people and expose the truth, educate people, let them make their own decisions. You know, they don't have to follow us.
That's
Just,
right.
You know, to do that. But I think of what you said there, you know, John Wooden, the UCLA basketball coach who had Wilt Chamberlain and, you know, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and so many other UCLA players that became Lakers at some point. And, you know, he said, you know, hey, it's preparation when it meets opportunity, you know, and like you say, you got to put the work in first and, you know, and then just look for the opportunity to take it. It's not luck. It's
Well, it is luck, but you make your own luck. You make your
own.
own energy, your own momentum. It's not like sitting on the porch, not buying a lottery ticket and winning the lottery. It just doesn't happen that way. You have to buy a ticket.
You manifest it and you envision it and you journal. Remembering the future book, folks.
there you go.
BrooksAndNew.com.
Well, you and I had a kind of similar, not exact type experience, but
Yeah.
you know, with your car alternator a month ago or a few weeks ago, is that
Oh,
you
yeah.
know the idea is that we put out there that good karma, and you know, and we could have put out bad karma, and your car wouldn't have worked at the end, you know. But I fully believe that.
Oh yeah, well, it's the great one. We talked about it and all that, but yeah, folks, the best thing about driving a Ford Police Interceptor is that it's a fucking awesome high end performance vehicle. It's incredible. Drive it responsibly, but you know, and don't drive long distances because people don't want to pass you on the highway. You know, I drive in the middle of the night if I'm driving long distance. But the downside to it is because it's a 5,000-pound car, and it's not a Explorer, it's not a Taurus. Those are two totally different vehicles. The Police Interceptor sedan and utility look like an Explorer, look like a Taurus, but they're 5,000-pound cars versus 25-pound.
Yep.
They
2,500.
got 500 horsepower, 400 something.
600 horsepower. Well, it depends if it's tuned. So agencies tune it or don't tune it. So it'll go up to 600. But there is expenses, and an alternator for a Police Interceptor is fucking north of $400. And the damn battery, which is way bigger than a civilian car. So we had an issue with my mobile mechanic came over, and I knew the alternator was out, you know, so he replaced the alternator and then blew my battery, Brooks.
Overcharged it.
He plugged the battery cable to the alternator on backwards.
Oh, that'll do it.
Yeah. This became a mystery for a long time, and without going into too much detail, Keith is right. We were it was the Great One putting us through a test. Like, hey, yeah, you can have your car back.
But we envisioned the positive outcome at the end.
Yeah.
And didn't and I I'm not a big karma person, but I mean the idea is that I do think you can generate your own positive energy to have things go, and I've had enough things in my life that's why I got the book, and I was glad to read. So
I'm glad you got that book too. And,
I was too.
And you need to continue. And the good news is, Brooks, I got to tell you something in just a little bit. What did I write down? Okay, I'm going to tell you something in just a little bit after I tell you something else that I wrote down. See how that works? I wanted your take on this, Brooks. Did you, Keith? I'm going to pin you.
Pin me.
Pinning you. Did you watch what I sent to you or not? Did you just refuse to watch it?
The Kid Rock.
Robert Ritchie, who's also Kid Rock. Yeah.
There you go. I have not watched it.
Holy shit.
I know.
It's such a fucking great performance.
I'll tell you what, Chad. I will watch it before I leave tonight after the show because I feel that bad.
I don't know if you watched it, Brooks, the halftime thing, but
Oh, I did watch it. Yeah.
But when Kid Rock, when he came out as Kid Rock, but then the last performance he was just Robert Ritchie.
That's right.
And was that not a great fucking?
It was really good. It was like watching two different artists, sing. He really did a fine job. I'm used to him coming out, ball with the ball, the bang, a dang, diggy, 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 said the boogie, said up. I that's the Kid Rock I'm used to. And then he comes out and does that. Wow, that was really cool.
That was passionate. I mean, I got chills, and I loved he added that new verse to that song. It was great. It was incredible.
Yep, that's talent.
Yes.
Oh, it was powerful to me, man. It just really was. I was like, holy ass, So, I mean, and I could understand him. Even though I speak Spanish, I can understand a lick of.
That's what I heard about.
Puerto Rican
you didn't want to, because the guy was talking about having sex with underage girls of all different nationalities by taking them to the VIP room. That shouldn't even have been on prime time in any language.
Right. That there were some congressmen that were taking that up, but hey.
Yeah, it was hard to understand for me, let alone anyone. And at the same time, just how atrocious. I don't know. Robert Goodell.
What is up? I mean, are they
He's
trying to
making
do
money
a
for those guys, though? I mean, the owners love him because they're making a fortune. As long as they are, he is going to be the commissioner.
Well, they lost a lot of dough in advertising space.
That's where the rubber meets the road, isn't it? Because the people that switched over to the Turning Point USA halftime show saw different ads.
Yep.
And the 104 million people that switched away.
Was it that many? Over 100 million?
Yeah, it was over 100 million people switched away during the halftime. In fact, there were people in the stands
on their phones watching
who filmed other people on their phones watching the Turning Point halftime show with their earbuds in.
Wow.
While the main one was going down on the field. And by the way, did you see all the empty seats at the Super Bowl? There were a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of empty seats.
That's a lot. That's unusual,
And it was so clever. So clever. Like Kevin James, you know who he is, right?
Yeah.
The overweight actor sitting in the seat in a suit with a bouquet of flowers in his hands by himself with a forlorn look on his face, right? That was all an ad for his show. He was brilliant, just brilliant. Couldn't afford $1 million a minute for the, Super Bowl commercial, so he was the commercial in the stands.
Very good.
That is a show, like the show that made him King of Queens, right?
King of Queens, yeah.
Because I just haven't. In the waking up process, I stopped watching TV, for the most
Yeah.
part, and
Yeah.
but the thing is, I did, we talked about Dick Johnson, my longtime best friend of 20 years. He understands that. But he's like, dude, there's some shows you should see, and I watched King of Queens a couple of years ago, the entire season, all seasons, and I was like, holy shit, that was a great show.
He was very talented, and
Oh,
he
yeah.
ad-libbed a lot of stuff in that show, which
Good
made it really
stuff.
funny.
Yeah.
And him and her, I forget what her name is now, but
Carrie
they
is
keyed
on the
off each
stage.
other so well.
Oh yeah, man, it was a great show. It really was. I was like kind of a snob about it. Like, no, there can't be any that many great shows anymore. The King of Queens fucking rocked.
Yeah, it was like Third Rock from the Sun. That was funny for a while too.
Yeah, it was.
Ashton Kutcher and
John Lithgow.
yeah.
Yeah, it's Kevin James. I'm glad that dude's, even though he's a hell of an athlete for being a little overweight type.
You saw him, and Here Comes the Boom.
Yeah,
That was actually pretty well done. Henry Winkler and him, and who's it? Sayek? What's her name?
Jaime.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh man, she was so talented in that.
Oh yeah.
And the little Filipino girl that sung in the stands, she's actually a very talented singer. She was discovered on, I think she was discovered on Oprah, and she sang on stage with Celine Dion, and she was in that movie Here Comes the Boom and sang the Neil Diamond song, for the whole crowd there.
Wow.
Very talented girl.
Neil Diamond. Wow. I remember as a little kid, as a little tiny kid.
Holly Holy.
I'm talking. Oh, that's all my aunt and my mom would play Neil Diamond nonstop. I'm like 3 years old. I know every Neil Diamond song. It's like, here, be coming to America. I'm fucking here. But
I
love Neil Diamond.
Neil, he used to sing in California all the time. He'd go to, what was the name of that place? Oh, the Hollywood Bowl, and we would hear him there. Very talented guy, good, decent writer. I mixed a show for him in Utah one time.
Really?
And I was on the board, and he was singing and lost his voice, like it went like that. So he left the stage, and the band, carried on, and he went downstairs under the stage and drank something. I guess gargled something, came back up, and his voice came back on. So I turned his mic back on. But yeah, very talented guy, and really commands an audience well.
Oh yeah, man. I'm just gonna write this down. Another fucking notch in Brooks's belt. The most interesting man in the world. Fucking ran audio for effing Neil Diamond. Holy shit!
I just happened to be at the right place at the right time. I was running it for the school, and
That's too cool.
Happened to be there, and I made a recording of it. I had it for years, and then lost it.
That is too cool, though. Seriously. Wow. And folks, I'm going to reiterate, like our audience hasn't seen it, but if you haven't seen Robert Ritchie at the TP USA, the alternate halftime show thing, whatever you want to call it, you haven't seen Robert Ritchie or Kid Rock perform that song Till You Can't. Holy shit. Just get in line with Keith Keith Temple, who hasn't seen it yet.
I've made the commitment that I will not leave here until I watch it tonight. So
Producer Tony, don't let him leave. Otherwise, we're gonna I'm gonna have to put you in handcuffs and call JSO.
Call the law.
Yeah.
Dereliction of duty.
Exactly. Aye. How are we on time, guys? What are we doing?
I don't know.
Well, it is about
11:20.
yeah, 11:20.
Okay. I just want to remind, what did I want to say? Oh, yeah. I want to remind everybody, in case you're like tuning in now, blah, blah, blah. I don't know how you listen and replay. Actually, we should say this too. If you're listening on YouTube right now, we're on other places too, just in case they ban a show. So you can always find us on Rumble, and we'll be on other places as well, in case YouTube, decides you don't deserve to listen to this show. You can always find it on Rumble, because they don't, like, I don't know, they're not assholes. Anyway, I want to reiterate this once again. Adam Earth, who is a dear friend of mine for a good number of years, and became part of the show like 2019. He's always had certain things going on after a certain incident that happened, and he is in the hospital. He did go into kidney failure. I'm going back to see him. Keith's going with me tomorrow. And we just want to keep Adam Earth in your prayers, all this. But I guess the point is, this situation came up because Adam Earth is a true fucking hero. A true fucking hero. He was armed security at this Brooks. I don't know if they have him in North Carolina. DeSantis got rid of him when he got into office shortly after. But we had these things called internet casinos, right? Is that what they were? Internet casinos.
They had electronic slot machines and other gambling type machines.
So there were freestanding buildings and a gambling place. I guess they didn't call them internet casinos, right?
Arcades.
Something like that, right?
Yeah. Something.
But so Adam was armed security. He was an armed security officer, and he was security for these 30 plus people who were in that cafe that night. And this is 2017 when this happened. And one guy stayed in the car, two guys. So the guy with the, driving the getaway car, basically, he stayed in the car. Two guys, and they're fucking teenagers. And but they came in with AK-47s.
Wow.
And they had obviously, even though they're teenagers, they knew exactly where Adam was, and their plan was to take him out before they robbed everybody, right? So they knew there was a guy in there with a gun, the security officer. And Adam had seen him pull up. He was very vigilant. He saw he understood something was a little shady right away. And when these two guys entered, they immediately drew these rifles onto Adam. Fortunately for Adam, they suck at handling that weapon system, and they shot him in the torso and one of his legs multiple times, but this is simultaneously as this is happening. He sees them. He draws his firearm and unloads 2 magazines into both of them.
Wow.
He killed both of them. And of course, he was totally fucked up and lost his leg, all this jazz. And it created this, cascading problem of health issues with him.
Physical and mental.
Yeah. But Adam is...
Emotional, I should say, not mental.
Adam Earth is one of the most salt of the earth, one of the greatest fucking human beings I've ever had the pleasure of knowing. Give you the shirt off your back is beyond. He is the most loving, caring person I could ever know. And
every Saturday he would come and he'd be so jazzed about talking about what he and his church were doing for the homeless people, and he'd go out during the week and give them, ponchos and granola bars and waters and whatever they needed, and that was very purposeful for him. It gave him some purpose, and we all need that.
The show gave him purpose. He loved coming on the show because it gave him something to do Saturday nights instead of sitting at home, And so I just want everyone to know, in case you didn't know enough about Adam, that's a great fucking human being. He's a great human being, and remember, he saved 30 plus people's lives that night when he got shot, and so I hope we can pull him through this and all that. I know total renal kidney failure is a big fucking deal. Dialysis only works for a little bit. And like I said, if I'm a match, I'll give, this is about a transplant type thing. So I'll be happy to do it if I'm a match. And so I just want everyone, listen, if you are someone like, those of us on the show who talked to the great one, say something about Adam, maybe a little thoughts and prayers for Adam. All right, I'll shut up now, Brooks. Go ahead.
That's all right. The prayers of a righteous man availeth much.
Yes, amen. Keith? That's good. I'm relinquishing the microphone for a moment.
Yeah, well, I think we talk on the show a lot that we're wired as humans to walk through this earth with friends. And I'm glad that Adam was your friend, and then 6 months or so ago, he was introduced, I got to know him several nights, before the show and such, and he would call and text and say, hey, do you want to come do this or do that, primarily with some of his church groups and those types of things. And so yes, he wonderful, wonderful person, and I hope that this turns out okay and positive. And he's a young man, relatively young man, and I'm guessing 30. I mean, that might be a little too old. That might be a little too young. I'm not sure, but he's pretty young, and so he could have a lot of years to do wonderful on this earth. So.
Most certainly, and when he, yes. Brooks, in the last couple of segments of this show, I still talk over doing terrestrial radio. Anything we should like hammer hard right now that's on your mind?
Well, this is the midterms are coming up, and everybody doesn't want to talk about politics, but this is a political nation in the sense that it was founded on rebellion. We rebelled to form this nation.
Yes.
And the system of government that we put in place is founded on rebellion. Every 2 years, we can rebel all we want. We can throw their asses out and replace everybody. But that only works as long as we trust our election infrastructure. Around 2008, we lost our faith in that. And the old adage of, well, I guess we'll see you again in 2 years. We'll get you in 2 years. That's over with. That's over with. Now we are on the edge of a civil war. And I don't mean between the people and the government. I mean between states and the federal government. Several states have actually squared off against the federal government, and that's the makings of a civil war. Forget about what the people want. Civil unrest, that's something totally different.
Right.
Totally different. We're talking about states rebelling against the federal government. And we're watching it happen real time. Now, we have a federal election coming up in just a few weeks. Well, okay, it's a few months, but it goes quick. So if you're not registered to vote, you should get registered to vote. And I urge you to look at who's running in your area. And I don't care if they're incumbents or not. Pick good people, put them on the ballot, and elect them. And you'd be surprised. A few hundred votes can go a long, long way in these precincts. But we have to stop this cheating machine.
Yes.
We have to stop the cheating machine. So call your senator and make them pass this Save America Act.
But very well said, Brooks. I mean, it's obviously, I give an example. It's not the end all be all example, but obviously I've been here in Jacksonville since I was 10, but born in Louisville, Kentucky, and obviously know a lot of people in Louisville, Kentucky. Their governor did not win that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. And Katie Hobbs did not win in Arizona.
Damn straight. Yeah.
Well, and I think when I think of midterms, the word that concerns me is complacency. We won. We got Trump elected in 2024, and things are going to be okay. And I don't have to make it out, and I don't have to talk to my neighbors, and I can be wishy-washy, or no. We need to come out strong, in force, and make sure that we win, not by a little margin, but a big margin. And need to make sure.
You should know, even though we elected Trump in 24, it's over in 26 if we don't keep the House. You understand that? It's not a 4-year presidency. It's a 2-year presidency, which is not enough. It's over in 26 if we don't keep the Democrats out.
I agree. And I don't know. I don't know what you do. I don't know if you stand on a box and scream, whatever, but use your sphere of influence. Like you said, Brooks, a couple hundred votes in a precinct, over a large area of a state is huge. You can make a difference. Make sure that now you're talking to your children or your siblings or your friends or your coworkers. Be a little bold, go a little bit outside your comfort zone, because it's that important.
Yes. I still, am I out in a field of a wilderness of mirrors by myself? I don't. No, I'm not talking about you or Brooks, Keith. I'm saying I keep hearing all this. I think that's propaganda as far as, it's going to be a landslide for the donkeys in 26. I think the country's awake. I think the country's so awake, it's not going to be a landslide at all. I think they're going to stick with, we like more of this MAGA stuff versus.
What is it? 80% of the general public polled, wants the voter ID issue, and yet it's
81%. That's correct.
Yeah,
81%.
It's just common sense. That's just not that common anymore. But
But if we don't take care of the cheat by mail system, we don't do away with this
Right.
universal mail-in system, you're not going to win. You're not going to win a lot of states. You're not going to win Washington. You're not going to win Oregon. You're not going to win Arizona or Pennsylvania. You're not going to win because these mail-in votes is a cheat by mail system. It has to be in person with ID voting once. No more mail-in voting at all, unless you're in the military or you're disabled.
Yes.
And that usually is not going to make any difference whatsoever. They might as well not even have it, because the only time they ever count mail-in votes is when there's only a 1% or less difference between the candidates. That's where it needs to be. It needs to be in person with paper. Now, I don't care if it takes 1 day or 10 days, but no ballots counted after the polls close on election day. That's it. You want to vote 10 days early? Have at it. But not after election day. Once election day is done, no more votes are counted. They're all paper, they're all in person, and they're all with ID. That will end the Democrat reign of terror.
It needs to be a paper trail. You need to be able to take a stack, put them in stacks of 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, and say, there's 580 for one candidate and 420 for the other, and here they are,
And if it means we have to have more voting locations, more high schools, more fire halls, more schools, then so be it.
Yes.
But that's the way it has to be in order for the republic to survive.
I've been a proponent of, make Tuesday, every 2 years a federal holiday, just to make it where some people extra people can do that,
Get out there and vote.
Yeah, get out and vote or work at the polling station,
It hasn't been that long that men and women have had the right to vote, the open right to vote. It hasn't been that long, actually, because before the 19th Amendment, only tax-paying landowners could vote, and the taxes had to be paid. If you were behind on your taxes, you couldn't vote. Then men were allowed to vote if they didn't own land. And shortly thereafter, women were given the right to vote through women's suffrage. But it has not been that long that everyone has been able to vote. Why did they have it that way? Because landowners had a dog in the fight.
Right.
Well, somebody said that, 46, 47% of the general public who do not pay federal income tax do not have a dog in the fight, and therefore they're going to vote so that they don't have to have a dog in the fight.
And they vote for themselves a piece of the treasure, which is the death of any democracy.
Yes. Well, and I think that's one of the great reasons why, the tariff issue is, you're going to pay your tax now, right? I mean, maybe
$130 billion so far they've taken in.
Right. And, I've always been a proponent. I've been on the show 2 years ago or so, talking about some type of fair tax, some type of, I don't like to use the word national sales tax, and there's some nuances, to make it that way. But the bottom line is that if you're a drug dealer making $100,000 a year, you ain't paying taxes on that. But if you're a drug dealer making $100,000 a year and you buy a car and a flat screen TV and some other things, now you're paying your share of taxes.
And one thing we know is rich people usually spend more money than poor people.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So.
I mean, it makes sense. We were talking about, I know 47's been making a push against the Federal Reserve, which, of course, fucks up, pisses off the global syndicate. But, I mean, he's been making pushes towards that as far as this Federal Reserve thing.
That's, it's not so, the issue is the Federal Reserve. And Trump very shortly, as soon as this next appointment is done with the new Fed chair, and he gets this other governor fired because of, committing a felony mortgage fraud, she should be fired. Once that's done, the Federal Reserve is going to merge with the U.S. Treasury, and that power is going to go away. In other words, the European Union, or should I say, England, is going to be out of our revenue stream.
Damn straight.
Good.
That's what a lot of you know. What here's the thing, Brooks. I love the fact that we brought this up, and then you paint it so perfectly for listeners. This is the dude with the green lampshade on his head standing in the corner of the party that a lot of people don't know about, just standing over there, the whole fucking Federal Reserve thing.
He's the banker in Monopoly game. The guy.
That's exactly. Exactly. But
and Warsh is a good guy. Warsh is very sharp, and he's a low interest proponent. But the main thing about Warsh and getting rid of, Ms. Cook is that the Treasury will then be able to merge with the Federal Reserve, and it goes away.
It's a huge deal.
It is.
This would not happen without a president, obviously not a puppet of the United States, a president of the United States, but also one who's fucking awake.
Yep. And people don't see that because they don't listen to or they don't watch that kind of media. And, there's I don't know if you watch Apple News at all. Apple News, 100% of Apple News is left-leaning. They don't do any right-wing. They don't publish anything positive about Trump.
Wow.
And Apple News is the source for, I don't know if you use Microsoft Edge or MSN or any of those as a browser.
No.
But when you pull up MSN or you pull up Microsoft Edge, there's a lot of news stories that are plastered on there, and they kind of rotate pretty quickly. All those news stories
Propaganda.
go through Apple TV. They're all propaganda. None of them are true. None of them are true. Everything that's printed about Trump or about Rubio or about Hegseth, it's all, or any of the cabinet members really against are all against them. They're all negative. And unfortunately, there's a lot of Apple phones out there, and there are millions and millions of people that get their news from Apple TV every morning, and it's all fake. It's all fake news. So they never hear what we're talking about.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. It started with my mom probably 2 years ago or so, and I started. She and I would be talking, and then she would basically, paraphrase a title of a news article, and I'm like, I was like, Mom, what? Who's the source of that? Who wrote that?
I got it off Google. I got it. Yeah, everybody,
And what's amazing is she won a national prize for journalism, 50 years ago, in college. And I'm like, who is the source? It's People, or us, or Huffington
anonymous
Post.
Source, an insider, a whistleblower.
Something, and then with some of my coworkers, I stay pretty low key. I try to stay pretty middle of the road, the best that I can. And man, the hair on the back of my neck stands up when I hear, them starting to talk about different articles, and I'm like, I know what's in your news feed, so.
I mean, we look at them as idiots. We look at them as like these people that attack ICE agents on the sidewalk with their rape whistles and bullhorns. We look at them like that. But in their minds, that's their world.
Right.
Right. Absolutely. We need college safe places where before you would go to college to be exposed to different ideas and debate and, and develop those skills. Oh, you can't say that. That offends me. I'm triggered. I'm emotionally damaged now, right? Like, what? Come on.
Yep, you messed with my pronouns.
My pronoun. I identify as a shoebox. Anyway, yeah. Wow. That's just. This is the truth, though, man. And I had no idea there was Apple News. I've had an iPhone before, but I've been whatever this is, Android for Samsung Galaxy Jazz.
That's me.
I've been that for a long time, but I had no idea there was Apple News. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's Apple TV, not Apple News, Apple TV.
Apple TV.
Of course, we do have one advantage, and one of my friends just texted me and reminded me of this. Obviously, 69 million Democrat women who have been married are too stupid to get an ID. So they're not going to be able to vote. Only Republican women that actually understand that they can go get an ID anytime they want, and they don't have to go change their name on their birth certificate, which, by the way, can't be done. They're going to vote just fine. So Democrats are already advertising themselves as being too stupid to participate in the election.
Well, isn't that what that Supreme Court Justice Brown said? Is you can't do away with this because minority voters are disabled and fall under the
Jackson.
Yeah. Right?
Ketanji Brown Jackson. Yeah. Action Jackson, we call her. Yeah, that's they're handicapped. Being black, you're handicapped.
Wow.
Wow. It's the most racist thing I ever heard in my life.
No shit.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Just, well, they say that for obviously for that certain situation,
Their
that moment in
optics.
time.
That's
Yeah.
their optics. That's the spin that they put on it to deceive a lot of people.
That's crazy. That is so crazy. I mean, Keith, when we get done with the show, when go down the hallway, if you know who's getting home from work, need to let her know that she's fucking stupid.
She's hot. She's hot.
She's
and
hot.
young.
She's smoking hot, but you're not smart enough to vote.
Well, I guess the good thing, there is hope for the world because these liberal crazies, they don't breed.
Brooks, holy shit!
There is something with Darwin and natural selection, huh?
They will have cats
Holy
and
ass.
houseplants, but not kids. Thank God.
Brooks, what a fucking great point. Unbelievable.
Republican conservative women breed.
And listen, I don't know. I'm not saying anything, Brooks. All I'm saying is what I'm saying.
You're not saying anything?
I'm just saying. I'm not saying. Yeah, not saying anything. I'm just gonna say what I am gonna say. But I didn't really. I'm not saying anything. My experience after watching people on TikTok and YouTube after their disappointment of the result of what happened in Butler and their disappointment of what happened in the 2024 election, the women that I see on those videos, none of them are effable.
No, they're not breedable at all.
No.
Yeah, they remind me of chronic dope smokers I used to know when I was younger. They would come and say, oh, there's something very important I wanted to tell you. That's just what they're like. You just lose it. Can't connect a full sentence and a thought together.
Yeah, but I didn't say any of that.
Well, at least you know you weren't saying something, so
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah, but it's just, hey, it's just a fact of holy yes with some of these people, man. It's crazy. And the fact that that some of those people are behind the wheel of a car.
That's pretty frightening. And some of them work at NASA. Of course, we see the results of that with the delays in Artemis 2. It's not like they haven't had 4 years to fix all the leaks in the hydrogen system, but
Yeah.
they have leaks in the hydrogen system. So we're delayed again. And we're going to miss the window in Chinese. China is going to beat us to the moon with a human being.
That's just got to be stupid. There's no way. I don't think Elon's going to let that happen.
Well, Elon's prepared, but the thing is, the way Artemis works, the way the Gateway project works, which Artemis 2 is part of it, NASA was going to deliver the astronauts to the orbit around the moon with Orion. Elon was going to put a Starship in orbit around the moon, and then the Orion was going to dock with the Starship. And then the astronauts were going to get off of Orion onto Starship and land Starship on the moon. And then they were going to deliver a bunch of equipment and stuff to start building a site there, a colony. And then Starship was going to take off again, redock with Orion, and then the astronauts would come home. That's how that 2027 launch is supposed to go. It's immensely complex. So I'm with you, but I honestly don't think NASA is going to let Musk and his Starship go from Earth to Moon with people in it. I just don't see it happening. Even if the FAA approves the flight, I don't think that the United States government will allow a private contractor to land humans on the moon.
Well, yeah, it gets into all that legal stuff with colonization and resources, and how do we, does might make right on the moon? I mean,
no, but I was involved in writing the Peace and Space Initiative that was presented to the Secretary General of the UN like a big deal. We focused mostly on not weaponizing space, which was dumb because we had already weaponized space.
Exactly.
Since 1968, we did this in like 2008 or 2009, I think, the Peace and Space Initiative. So it was kind of a moot point. But, in 2006, since the El-Cross mission, private industry knows the wealth that's on the moon. We're not just going there for rocks, baby. We're going there for the helium-3.
Damn straight.
And there's enough water, we now know, in the soil of the moon to provide all the oxygen and fuel that we need on the moon without having to ship another gallon of fuel to the moon. And here's the beauty about Elon's rockets. They run on methane,
Perfect.
which you can make from the products that are on the moon.
Yeah. Refuel right there.
Exactly right.
That's the genius of it. Yeah.
That's part of the genius. They don't have to worry about hydrogen leaks because methane's 16 times larger than hydrogen.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought this up, Brooks. Holy yes. But you know what? I hope our side, I hope we, for the sake of this, listen, we need to, no matter what anyone thinks about any of the, whatever happened in 1969 to 71 and all that, yes or no, I don't know. But we need to, in 2026 and beyond, the United States of America should be able to land a human being on the face of the moon, because we should have already been on Mars.
Well, yes, but the thing about it is you can't go to Mars without going to the moon first. Because if we try to use the chemical rockets that we have now to take a craft to Mars, you're talking about people spending 7 months in a can.
Matt Damon's already been to Mars.
Yeah, going from Earth. And look how long those guys were in that big spaceship they had. Yeah, without fusion rocketry, Mars ain't happening. You have to lower the time and space, and you have to vastly increase the size of the craft that can go. Now, Gateway was going to build a craft but you still got to get it from cislunar space to cis-Mars space. And the best chemical rockets we have, it would be 4 to 7 months, depending on where Mars is in its orbit relative to Earth. But with fusion rocketry, we lower it to about 35 days. Now that's doable. That's doable.
That's a big difference.
Yeah.
Holy shit. That's huge. That's beyond a big difference. Wow.
Of course, we haven't done fusion rocketry yet, but I know how to do it. I know how to do it. If they would put me on the moon, I would show them how to do it. But
Patent it there, buddy. Patent.
It's already been patented, and the patent has already run out. That's how old the formula is.
Wow.
What Brooks is basically saying is the technology is already there. Someone needs to fucking use it.
Sort of.
Yeah.
We're having troubles with gravity, which Earth has too much of, and we have troubles with air because you can't have any air in the chamber to run the helium fusion reaction. So we build these huge tokamaks with tons of power, and we pour all this power in, and we get a little bit of fusion, a little bit of weight gain, and we call that a success. But that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for hot fusion, not cold fusion. We want energy. We need heat out of that reaction. And the only way to get that really is to fuse the two nuclei together. And that you have to do with no air and very little gravity. Guess where that is? The moon.
There you go. See? Holy yes. This is once again, the technology is there, and Brooks knows all the fuck about it.
Well, the tokamaks here on this planet have to be enormous because of the magnets that you have to use to control the plasma, to keep the plasma from touching the sides. But if you have a very small chamber and a very small amount of helium-3, you can fuse it in a tiny little chamber the size of a shoebox. And once you get the reaction going, all you have to do is feed it more helium-3 and the reaction keeps going.
Do you think, Brooks, listen, I know we're short on time, so we don't need to get into it too much, but do you think that those certain objects that have been seen flying in Earth's airspace and doing amazing, ridiculous things, ever the 50s, beyond, even to today, are they using some type of propulsion like that?
No, I think they're using gravity. They've found a way to lens gravity
to like block the gravity away from them as they move through it,
or focus it in a direction they want it to go in. Earth has got a great magnetosphere to jet around in if you know how to do that, but I don't know of any way to lens gravity. Can't block gravity at all.
Right.
Wow. Well, we're getting somewhere in the neighborhood of being able to do stuff like that. That's a great discussion right there, which we need more of at a later date with talking about with the fusion. That's amazing to me.
Well, the ISP from fusion rocketry is 100 times what we can get out of any chemical. Even nuclear rockets wouldn't generate that much thrust. I mean, it would generate speed if you gave it enough time, but not that much thrust. The ISP is the key. You don't have 9 months to gain speed. You have 9-10 days. That's it. And the only way to do that is with something that, well, put it this way, dynamite is about 5,000 meters a second when it explodes. Fusion rocketry is like 50,000 meters per second.
Wow, yeah. Huge difference.
When you said we have the technology, I couldn't help but think of my 1970s show, Steve Austin, Bionic Man, right?
Yeah,
we got
the
the
$6 million man.
Yeah, the $6 million man, and then Lindsay Wagner with the Bionic Woman, but anyway.
I love great shows.
We can rebuild him, make him better.
I love great shows. Doesn't matter what year it was. Great shows like Dick Johnson and I were talking about last night. You know, he and I obviously weren't around in the 30s or whatever, but we were like one of the. If we have like Brooks, we have a unlimited amount of #1 movies in the top 10 because it's impossible, right? But we both agreed It's a Wonderful Life's one of the greatest fucking films of all time.
In its day, it was.
Yeah.
In its day.
Yeah, I'm just saying, you know, you don't have to be. There's some people who are like, well, I wasn't born. Well, no shit. Still,
Well,
you
it
can
was
go still watch that movie. It's a
quite
great film.
innovative for its day. Alternate timelines. I thought that was pretty innovative.
Yeah, yeah, most certainly. It's just great stuff. Like so, the $6 Million Man is a damn great series that I wasn't around when they were making it. You know, Ponderosa Bonanza wasn't around when I wasn't around when they were
for
making
about
it.
3 minutes while I go do what Keith did. Hold on.
Okay. All right. Well, when Dr. Agnew gets back, we'll go ahead and start our sign off, Jazz. But you know what I'm saying, Keith? It's like Bonanza. That's a damn great show.
Hoss and
Yeah.
Little Joe. And
Yeah, I wasn't even born, but it's a great fucking show. You know, so you still watch it, right?
Right.
You know, come on, Mayberry. What's the Andy Griffith?
Yeah.
Fucking great show, man. Leave It to Beaver. Great show. Great effing show. You know, as a little kid, I'd watch reruns of Leave It to Beaver, and I was waiting for the new show the next week because I had no idea.
Right.
I had no idea that was, you know, made in the 60s or whatever it was.
Right.
Leave It to Beaver in the 60s or 70s or
Probably late 60s, I'm thinking. All my...
All My Children?
No. My Three Sons.
My Three Sons. There we
My
go.
Three Sons.
Oh, I saw plenty of soap operas between my mom and my aunt.
General Hospital and Days of Our Lives.
Holy shit! As a little kid, I'd have to watch.
As the World Turns.
As the World Turns. What's the one? Victor Newman. Their big thing was Guiding Light in the afternoon, but in the morning it was the one with Victor Newman and Nikki. We'll ask Brooks when he gets back. I'm sure he's a huge soap opera.
Maybe not.
Brooks.
Welcome back, Brooks.
Brooks, we were just talking about you behind your back.
Okay, we're back.
Gotcha. See, it doesn't take that long. Great show tonight, guys. I always enjoy spending Saturday evenings with you. And
Yeah, next time we'll start with fusion rocketry and see.
I'm gonna have to do a little brush up work there. I'm gonna have to, you know.
Well, it's. I mean, there's probably 12 scientists in the world that actually know how this works, but it doesn't mean we can build it.
Right.
Yeah, this has to be talked about more then because it exists. The possibility, the technology, possibility,
we have
everything
the technology.
exists.
We can rebuild it or build it.
Yeah. Brooks, when you were gone real quick, he was talking about another TV show and somehow I started talking about soap operas. As a little kid, my mom and my aunt, their deal was Guiding Light in the afternoon and in the mornings. I forget that. Who was Victor Newman? Which show is that? Remember Victor Newman?
Got me.
Oh, let's see. Damn it! If the most interesting man in the world doesn't know, then none of you deserve to know.
We'll have to do trivia. We'll have to get your buddy Jimmy here.
That's right.
Not a big trivia person. I always lose those games. I'm more of a process thinker.
Yeah.
Brooks, just shut up. You'd win anything. You win any trivia. You know you would. I'm going to put you down. I'm betting on you in the Kentucky Derby.
There you go.
Brooks, if people go to brooksagnew.com, what are they looking for?
Well, it's an easy website to get to, brooksagnew.com. I make the front page as simple as I can. It only has 2 buttons on it that you need to pay attention to. One is get my free newsletter, which is a great way to stay in touch with me. I only put it out twice a week, so I'm not going to spam you to death. And the other one is Ivan and fenbendazole without a prescription. Now, I have to use code words because otherwise we get shut down on all kinds of media. Because they don't like us to repurpose any of those medications for something like trying to cure certain diseases out there. But you already know what these things do. You just don't know where to get them. Well, now you do, and you don't need a prescription, and the shipping is free.
You go to brooksagnew.com, folks. brooksagnew.com. Keith Temple, great show with you tonight, Lieutenant.
Thanks. I enjoyed dinner, enjoyed the company and the conversation. It's wonderful. Happy Valentine's Day to all you guys.
Happy Valentine's Day to everyone. And once again, Adam Earth, we keep you in our thoughts and prayers, and I'll see him tomorrow, later on this morning, actually, now that we're into tomorrow. Brooks, great show with you again, my friend, my great co-host. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Folks,
My pleasure. I enjoy every Saturday night on Earth.
It's you have made it so much more wonderful, my friend, being here.
Yes,
awesome.
Thank you.
Really, and it unbelievable wealth of information at all times. Everyone, Dr. Brooks.
I'm like George Malley. That's who I'm like. I'm like George Malley.
George Malley. Nice. I like it. I like it. Folks, until next time, listen, you just heard Dr. Brooks Agnew, Keith Temple, for our elusive engineer, producer Tony, the great Bob Austin, Scott Hare, and Adam Earth, folks. Until next time, let justice be done till the heavens fall. I'm Truth. This is Earth. Let's dance, Keith. Brooks, we're going to dance for you. Or Keith is, I don't know. Maybe, Brooks, I'll try and give him a high five. High five. If he doesn't fall out of his chair, it's a good night. Love you, Brooks. Have a great one, brother.